Greetings, church. This is Kevin Duclairon. Today is Tuesday, the 2nd of February 2021. I am here under the Morrison Bridge, and I'm right by the Morrison Bridge here, and Belmont over there. This is the other day I was telling you that there is a place where people shower, but the water's cold. That's that place right over there, right underneath the bridge. It's a very nice setup, but they need somebody to donate them a generator that could warm up the water so that the homeless out here can take a shower. I've only been there twice, and once I've touched the water, and believe you me, it is cold. It's like the water coming from a freezer rather than a hot shower place. I'm just beginning with my day. It is right now 2:08 p.m. And I lodged yesterday on southeast Older and Grand, which is right over there. That's Grand Avenue. You can see the vehicles passing by. And if you go 1, 2, and that is the street, the second street, not this street right here, but the next street over, kitty corner right over there, is where I stayed last night in a tent next to the U.S. Bank. I was next to the U.S. Bank. You hear that shot? I was I lodged there in this 6x7 tent, and the problem with the tent is that the tent has a electrical hole, and so you're supposed to put the electrical cord through the hole. Now, when you pull the tent out of the prongs that keeps the tent open, when you pull the tent out, you can literally adjust it so that the tent diminishes, and sort of like this. When you remove the prong, if the tent is open this way, once you stick your finger through the hole, you have access to the lock that's in that's locking the tent. Okay. Now, what they're using to unlock the lock, I don't know. This is the lock right here that I've been using for this tent. Well, anyway, this is the lock. See, it's a tiny little lock. It's not that big. It's a master's lock. And they came in last night and assaulted me several times. And it's the usual. This morning I was pissed off. I couldn't get up to just get on with my day, because I'm like, how many days is this going to happen for? How many weeks, months, and years? So I sat there and raised my voice and spoke to John. He came out on the intercom. Either him or Gabriel came out on the intercom, and asked them to come out. Come out and let's deal with this like Christians, like men, like American and foreigner, Klan and African, I don't know what, but to just come out so we could deal with the issue. I addressed as many of the issues as I thought needed to be addressed so that he could come clean. John never budged. He never budged, and he never came out. He never even sent a person to speak in passing, while I was in the tent, right? The tent was wet because it poured last night. And so, the sleeping bag and blanket and cardboard and newspaper, the whole thing was soaking wet. And so I just laid there and sat and waited to see if they would come. I waited until 12 o'clock. I gave them that much time to come and to just deal with whatever the issue is that's irking him. That's irking him, and why he keeps coming out using this woman. What they're doing, as I've shown you several times before, is they're coming in and they're using an X-Acto knife. Okay, they're using an X-Acto knife to cut to pieces the top layer of my flesh. You can't really see it, but it hurts a lot. When you have to keep using you have to keep, I don't think you can see this, but it's like you have to keep using you see that right there? You see the top? You see the flesh missing? Okay, that's what Gabriel and MacArthur are doing inside of the tent. They're using an X-Acto knife and they're cutting the top layer of the flesh. They're also pulling the cuticles. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure why they're doing that, to give me pain. This Haitian woman won't stop eating my flesh. She's like this flesh-eating monster. and the government is not stopping the whole thing. The police department will not take a report, as I told you yesterday in the last video. So today I took a stance and I said, no, you people, instead of cleaning up, because there's nowhere for me to go and there's nothing for me to do. When I try to find a job, MacArthur comes out in the background of, in the place of employment where I'm trying to put in an application. Same thing with housing, same thing with seminary and the church. So, I'm asking them, and I've asked them, to come clean repeatedly, and they won't come clean. I've asked the police department to bring them out, and the police department will not bring them out. So I'm not exactly sure. This is not my issue. This is MacArthur's issue and Gabriel Franklin's issue. You know what I mean? I don't know what, I don't have a solution for these two people. I don't have a solution for the Franklins. She wants to use my cock and she wants access to my bank without my consent. I don't know what the banking center is doing when they come in, when she comes in with Guy Franklin and puts on the show for them, acting like their mother and son and acting like, they're offended at the fact that, it's like, well, what's going on, Guy? I don't know, Gabriel. Did Ernst tell them that we were coming? Well, apparently not. He didn't tell us. He didn't tell them. And that's the show that they're putting on in the banks, I'm not exactly, they have my banking account number, right? Every bank that I use. So, they're doing it on purpose. I wish they'd go back to their own states and leave my life alone, but I don't think that's gonna happen. At 12 o'clock, I kind of got up and went to get myself some lunch and, packed up and put my stuff in the storage here and opened up everything to try to dry it before 5, 6 o'clock tonight. But, I'm probably going to end up having to go to a dryer to dry everything, but that's not the point. The point is that Christians are being persecuted in this community and kept down. I'm wondering, are these people in this tent Christians? Is this what Christianity has become today? Is this the community of us? The Apostle Paul went through the period of homelessness where he was judged, by many enemies. Paul was judged by many, many, many enemies, and I'm wondering if this is what we all become. Is this what Christianity become as a result of what people like Dr. John MacArthur went through with Bob Jones? How come he didn't stay down on that level? You know what I'm saying? If Bob Jones University is in the business of bringing Christians down, if Bob Jones University is in the business of destroying Christians' lives, is this what we all become? Is this what we all become? Is this what they're offering us? Right? Is this what the society and the community offering the church? Is this what they're offering us? And then this is how we're having to live, right? And this is how we're having to live. Is this how we're having to live as a result of it? I'm one of those people. I am. When I'm out and my tent is up, the only reason why I haven't brought you to my tent and to show you is because by the time this camera, I can't show you during the daytime because everything is all packed up and everything is all packed up and everything is put away, so that I can continue with my daily responsibilities. One of my biggest daily responsibilities is finding housing. I want to show you an apartment complex. You see that apartment complex way over there? Okay, that's a Reach apartment complex. I've been to that place 20 times to put in applications. And you know what happens? I can't even, as soon as I get through the door, they stop me dead cold and tells me, no, you can't come in here. Why not? Why is it that as an American, I can't go from here, right, living in a tent to living in there, right? Living in those apartment complexes. That's a brand new apartment building right there. Why is it that they take us out of the apartment complex and bring us down to that level right there? That's me. You understand? And I'm saying that's not right. Why is it that Grace Community Church, this is a church that's training men as if lives depended on it, It's like, okay, how am I going to plant a church if this is how I'm having to live, right? How am I going to plant a church if this is how I'm having to live? And men like MacArthur gets all dressed up on the American level, and it's okay for them to do ministry. And as soon as they walk in, there's a camera, there's television, there's radio, there's all of that, right? And this is what Christianity has become today. But then he goes and he takes me down, several notches so that I'm no longer on that level and I'm on this level here, how am I supposed to get back on my feet? You know? And of course the government is helping him, the police department is belittling. I don't think that's right. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not in agreement with that. I'm not in agreement with any church leader or any church pastor that brings us down, you know, in housing, in finances. I mean, I understand that Jesus was poor, but in the Gospels, he had nowhere to lay his head. But it also states that in Thessalonians that it is good for us to work. How am I going to work for a company if this man is pretending to be a Klansman in my life? And, you know, I was formerly his student when I'm no longer his student. I haven't been a student since 1998. So I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how many students has he graduated and passed through while he's sitting up here hiding in these buildings and pretending that he's training me? This isn't training. This is torture. Let me ask you something. Where do you see training that? You see the tents? You see these tents. I don't know who these tents belong to, but I have to sleep in a tent at night. And when I have to sleep in a tent at night, and a woman is coming in and doing this to my thumb, into my penis, you know, how is that training, Grace Community Church? Explain to me how this is training. Taking me out of, you know, an apartment complex, right? Taking me out of an apartment complex and bring me down to the tent. How is that training? And then telling everybody, you know, telling the job, the home. I don't understand. Where do you see training here, America? You know, you the American church, where do you see training here? We train men as if lives depended on it. Gabriel Franklin coming in and out of the apartment, coming in out of the tent, having sex with my body. Where do you see the training here? Where is it, right? I'm having to use cardboard to ask the church for support, pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters, everything for a cup of coffee? How insulting. I mean, isn't there a government to bring this man down? Isn't there a church government to bring this man down? I mean, where do you find in the bylaws of Grace Community Church that this is training? This is vexing and this is upsetting. And my suggestion, and I don't want your money, I just want you to give me back my life, my freedom, you know? The civil rights gave us, 1964 gave us the right to work and to live. What happened to the civil rights, church? Well, I mean, you trust John MacArthur, and but do you trust God to take somebody like MacArthur down so that he doesn't have this kind of authority over men like me, you know, foreigners who come here and who are not aware of, you know, the persecution and the treachery of these people and their fake faith. Anyway, I got to get going. My bus is coming, and this guy is speeding like the last one, and I don't think I'm going to make it, you know, if I don't, you know, wave him down here. Anyway, I will talk to you at a later time.